This is Calm AF, a podcast for humans who are hard on themselves. A podcast for the overthinkers, people pleasers, perfectionists, and overachievers. I'm Kristen Finch, and I'm going to teach you how to quiet that incessant negative chatter in your head. Because you know what a person with a calm mind can do? Anything they want. Grab your coffee, gorgeous soul, because today's the day you get Calm AF. Hello, gorgeous soul. Welcome to Calm AF. I hope you're having a wonderful day. I hope that it feels like spring wherever you are, or I guess fall wherever you are. Today we're going to be continuing on this conversation about habits. Before we dive in, I want to give you a very quick reminder that the spring sale is currently happening in Calm AF Life. That is 25% off the investment. It will be good through the end of April. So April 30th will be the cutoff to get that 25% off sale. The coupon code to get that discount is Spring AF. So if you go to the show notes or you go to kristenfinch.com, you just click on the link. You can see all of the information, everything that is included in Calm AF Life, which is a lot. And then when you go to checkout, just coupon code Spring AF and 25% off. Bada bing, bada boom, you're in. Okay, so we're going to talk about consistency. How important is it? So if you've ever tried to change a habit, or if you've ever learned about what it takes to change habits, you've probably heard that consistency is key. And while that's true, today we're going to take the word consistent and we're going to add some ish to it. You got to take away the rigidity. If you want inner peace, if you want to feel more calm in your life, you need to be relentlessly committed to your overall goal, and you need to be consistent-ish. So why? Well, let's start with the science. You know how I love the science. What we know about how a brain creates a new neural pathway in order to create a habit is that repetition is really crucial. If you want to create a new neural connection in your brain from one neuron to another neuron, that repetition does matter. But many of you listening fall into the trap of perfectionism, trying to adhere, make consistency mean that you have this unrealistic standard. And that unrealistic standard really leads to stress and frustration, not calm. And how do I know this? How do I know that this is what you do? Because I know who I'm talking to. I know who you are. I know your brain. Right now you're listening to a podcast called Calm as Fuck. Not calm and laid back, not calm and easy breezy, calm as fuck. There's an edge there. The way you approach your life and your goals and your dreams isn't meh. I'm just going to sit around and wait and see what happens. You are not afraid to work for what you want. You are not afraid to put in the effort that it takes to manifest your desires. It says right there in the intro, the way you go about things is you are an overthinker. You're a perfectionist. You're an overachiever. You are not afraid to get your hands dirty. But you are also overwhelmed and exhausted at just how hard it sometimes feels because of that overthinking, because of that perfectionism and overachieving. You keep thinking that you do want to achieve your goals, of course, but you're so freaking tired of that, of the achieving part coming at the expense of your inner peace. It's really hard for you to let go of that perfectionist, overachieving, overthinking mindset, though, because it's kind of what's worked for you in the past. Like you have achieved a lot of things through sheer will, through energy managing, through persistent white knuckling. So you've got the proof that it works. But this idea that maybe you could have both, like you could be a badass and have inner peace, you could be calm as fuck. That's why you're here listening to the podcast and you're not listening to calm as a sloth. So let's get into it. Let's get into how to be relentlessly committed to creating the life you want, but also be consistent-ish about it. First, you've got to reject the rigidity. So as we've been talking over the last few weeks here in the podcast and in the Calm AF Life program, your life is created based on what you do on a daily basis, based on those daily habits. So when you're ready for something different, whether that's a goal that you want to change your physical health, or you want to be more, you want to stand up for yourself more in your relationships, your daily habits are going to need to change because whatever got you here isn't going to get you there. However, instead of approaching these new habits in the same exhausting, soul-depleting way you've done it in the past through that self-punishment and the white knuckling and just praying for the strength, we're going to do it differently, the Calm AF way. You're going to start moving your mindset away from this fixed perfectionist approach to consistency to the goal being consistent-ish. Now, right now your brain might be thinking, well, maybe that's fine for you. Sure. Maybe you can settle for consistent-ish, but that is not who I am. If I am not giving it 110%, then why would I even try? If I'm not striving for perfection, then I'm basically just striving for failure. And that thinking is why you feel like shit all the time. When perfection is your ultimate goal, you are basically guaranteeing yourself an increase in stress and frustration and disappointment and negative self-talk. Because the truth is, my friend, you aren't perfect. And life is not perfect. You are a human being living in a world where the thing that you can expect is that the unexpected is probably going to happen. But if the only acceptable outcome for you is for nothing to go wrong ever again, I can guarantee that you're going to feel like shit. And when you feel like shit, you quit. You've got to reject this rigid mindset. And instead, embrace flexibility and adaptability. Rigidity does not support fluid movement. Rigidity is fixed. It doesn't allow for you to adapt or change as you go. And when there's no room for any deviation from your habits, you will give them up. Because life, she loves throwing the curveballs. When you embrace flexibility in your plans and routines, you are reinforcing the belief that forward movement is way more important than perfectly executed forward movement. What matters more than how you get there is just that you keep moving to get there. I remember a few years ago, I was driving my kids to school, and we take this one road, and once you're on it, you're kind of on it. And there was some police activity. And so the road that we needed to take at some point was blocked, completely blocked both ways, no one getting in, no one getting out. Like there was no getting around it. So in that moment, I wasn't like, welp, this is the way we have to go to school. This is the right way, so it's the only way. Guess we'll just have to turn around, go home, and start over. No. At the first chance, I just took a different road. I didn't try to find a different way to get there. I didn't try and find a bus or a train. I didn't enroll them in a new school because of the blocked path. I just adapted to the obstacle. And I know that example sounds a little bit silly, but I want you to think about it, really. How often you're actually doing that. How many times have you set some goal for yourself? Maybe you want to change your eating habits or your exercise habits or your cleaning habits or whatever it is, and then something interrupts you or throws a wrench in your plan. And instead of limiting sugar, you eat the whole box of Girl Scout cookies. How often do you have the thought, well, guess I have to start over. Guess this isn't working. Guess I wasn't consistent perfectly, so I have to start all over. Being consistent-ish means you have flexibility in how you are showing up, which allows you to keep moving towards your goal even when it feels like your plan didn't work. Also, you need to have predetermined good enough plans. That's what I call them, good enough plans. When you're working towards creating a new habit, you're going to have an idea of how it should look, how you really want it to look. On the perfect day, this is how it would look. And if you were able to perfectly control all of the variables, you know a perfectly consistent routine would look amazing. Like you would get a full hour, 2 hours at the gym, and you would have a perfect workout. Or you would make sure that you have the perfect, healthy, balanced lunch every day, no matter what happens in your workday. You would enjoy a luxurious morning routine. You would wake up with plenty of time to have your coffee, set your intentions, meditate, do your future self visualizations, write in your gratitude journal, get your exercise done, take a shower, all the things. We have an idea of how we think it should look. And listen, when those things happen, when you have one of those mornings, you celebrate the hell out of it. Cue the confetti. But let's be real. How often do your days or your routines go that way? How often are they going perfectly as you planned? How often do you have uninterrupted time or a time where you aren't getting disrupted by unexpected texts or calls? There's nothing getting your way. So we've got to come up with a different plan. I love coming up with how an ideal day would look because it really does help you understand the feeling you want to be aligning with. But even more importantly, you got to have some other options for the times when the ideal isn't a word you would use to describe your day. Being relentlessly committed means you show up no matter what. Being consistent-ish means you have a plan B and a plan C and a plan LMNOP. I know that how I start my day is going to set the tone for my day. I know that my morning routine is important. I need to get myself centered, aligned with how I want my day to feel. I need to get all my ducks in a row. So I am relentlessly committed to the habit of having a morning routine. Showing up for myself every day with a morning routine is non-negotiable for me. Showing up for myself every day by having a perfect morning routine that looks exactly the same every day? No way. I wish, but no. So I have predetermined good enough plans for my morning routine, right? I have a plan for my very worst day. I have a plan for when I have some time, but not a lot of time, right? If I wake up and there are already fires that need to be put out, metaphorically, my morning routine will probably consist of a deep breath, and I will set a shitty intention. Just recently, I think I shared this on a podcast episode recently, I had a hard day and I set a shitty intention, and my intention was to feel whatever. Is that the best intention ever? Nope, it is not. But it's an intention. I still showed up and set the intention. I still showed up for my future self. My future self is intentional, so setting a shitty intention is moving me towards my goal. Not setting an intention because I can't do it perfectly, not moving me towards my goal. So the reason I suggest that these plans be predetermined specifically is because you know how you feel when your plans get thwarted? Like, you know how it feels when you're in the middle of a routine and you get interrupted? You feel annoyed. You feel frustrated, and that is not the time you want to be scrambling to come up with some other alternate option. If your ideal plan for your morning routine requires an uninterrupted 2 hours, also take the time to make a plan for when you have 30 minutes, when you have 10 minutes, when you have 30 seconds, which is super helpful when you've got little kids. Nothing is more unpredictable than a little kid. What time will they wake up today? 7 a.m.? 4:30 a.m.? Will they be in a good mood? Will they entertain themselves for a bit? Like, will I give them some toys and they're cool? Or are they going to need me for every single thing? Having a predetermined plan for 10 minutes when you can slip it in, or 1 minute when you can't, will allow you to stay relentlessly committed to your future self and consistent-ish. All right, so that's how we're going to wiggle out. That's how we're going to wiggle out of that perfectionist, rigid mindset. And here's something to think about, a little motivation for you if your brain wants to fight you on giving up this perfectionist striving. I want you to just pause, slow down, and think about how it would feel to go into your day, your week, a conversation, a project, your schedule, whatever it is, with the knowledge that how you show up is less important than that you show up. How would it feel to know that rigidity and perfectionism are not actually the keys to your success, but that being consistent-ish is actually the key to your success? Think about the freedom of knowing that doing your best, considering all the circumstances, doesn't mean doing it perfectly. Relentless commitment and consistent-ish allows for patience, self-compassion, self-kindness, instead of desperate, needy energy, urgency, and negative self-talk. It is way more motivating. You need way less willpower or mental strength when you are being kind to yourself and using that as your motivator. Which means, listen, if you don't need more mental strength, being consistent-ish without the rigidity, with the flexibility, with the good enough plans will actually make you more consistent. Don't you love that when we can just turn things upside down? Just like slow and steady helps you move farther, faster, being consistent-ish will help you become more consistent. So that's my pitch. That is me making my case for you to choose to be relentlessly fucking committed to creating a life that you love, a life that you like living, that you enjoy. And knowing that the path there is going to require new habits and new neural pathways, but the best way to create those is to be consistent-ish. Being relentlessly committed and consistent-ish allows you to be a human, not a machine. It gives you the freedom to adjust when things go sideways, and it eliminates that all-or-nothing mindset that will lead to burnout. It's about understanding that life is unpredictable and circumstances can and do change. And it's not just okay, it's essential to be able to adjust your habits accordingly without feeling like it's the biggest deal in the world. All right, gorgeous souls. I hope I will see you inside Calm AF Life. This week we have 3 calls. We have a coaching call, we've got a deep dive podcast call, we've got a book club, and we've got our future self workshop. So I guess we have technically 4 calls. Next month in Calm AF Life, we're going to be diving into relationships. I have a lot to share inside the group about my own marriage, the journey, the transformation, and I'm going to bring Dave in to a call or two because he's fun to talk to. He is literally finding out about this right now as he's editing my podcast. I didn't tell him until just now. Hey, Dave, can you come and do some calls this next month? All right. Spring sale is happening now. 25% off. Calm AF Life. Use code SPRINGAF to get that sale price. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Go out there and show up for yourself. Be relentlessly committed and be consistent-ish. I'll see you next time. If you love this podcast, you will love Calm AF Life. It's a self-paced, lifetime access DIY course that teaches you all the concepts that I talk about here, from nervous system regulation to manifesting with ease. And since we know that true change doesn't happen just because you know what to do, you also get an all-access pass to coaching calls and accountability so you don't stay stuck and you don't give up. The best investment you could ever make is in yourself. Calm AF Life is here for you now. Life's not waiting. Let's get you aligned with your Calm AF self, gorgeous soul. I cannot wait to meet you. Go to KristenFinch.com and join me today.